Hello, hello. Yeah. So I'm going to do an announcement. Therefore, I'm going to switch to Spanish because this announcement is a little important. So, as you know, this week is going to be our last week on this course. Therefore, what I'm going to do is to give you the links of the inscription for level number 6. So, switch to Spanish. Sucede que, como usted sabe, la plataforma Sena Sofía está actualizando, está migrando, así que si usted intenta abrir Sena Sofía, pues no va a poder porque tenemos este inconveniente, ¿cierto? Pero para inscribirse a Sena Sofía, al siguiente curso, nivel 6 y de ahí para arriba, 7, 8, 10, 13, ¿cierto? Porque hay 13 niveles. Lo que usted puede hacer es la siguiente. Yo no puedo mostrarle en este momento la información porque Sena Sofía está en proceso de actualización, pero en Sayuna yo le voy a dejar este documento, ¿sí? Con el, ¿cómo se llama esto? Con el video instructivo para que usted se inscriba a los cursos que se vienen de aquí en adelante, nivel 5, nivel 6, perdón, nivel 6, nivel 7, nivel 8, y de ser necesario, pues reiniciar el nivel 5 en caso hipotético, que es poco probable, pero posible, de que no pase el nivel 5, que es poco probable. Valga declarar que a partir del nivel 6 para arriba, 6, 7, 8, el centro agroindustrial ya no tiene, digamos, injerencia, porque nosotros vamos hasta el 5, pero el SENA Construcción, que también es del Quindío, pues sí tiene injerencia con niveles desde el 6 hasta el 9, ¿listo? Cada curso pues tiene su temática, ahí en el YouTube está mencionada las temáticas que se van a revisar y hay un video tutorial también en caso de que usted lo necesite. Caso hipotético también de que usted requiera contacto, apoyo de alguna manera, una de las compañeras muy amablemente brindó su teléfono, no es el mío, pero sí es una de las compañeras, entonces para que usted lo tenga en cuenta. Este documento yo se lo voy a subir. Este documento yo se lo voy a subir a Sayuna, ¿vale? ¿Cómo se lo voy a subir a Sayuna? Bueno, entonces, por ejemplo, vamos a abrir nuestro curso, o supongamos que sea nivel, bueno, nivel 4, voy a suponer que sea nivel 4, pero, bueno, no,
Hi,
hello, how you doing? Vamos a nivel
fine, and
5,
thank you. And you?
Groovy,
Okay, excellent.
Groovy. Ok, so abrimos aquí en donde dice sesiones en línea y aquí está todas las grabaciones y los resúmenes de todas las actividades, sesiones que hemos tenido. Entonces, desde la inducción hasta nivel C, hasta la sesión 6 que fue la semana pasada. Aquí le voy a subir la grabación del sesión 7, es decir, la de hoy, junto con el link de YouTube, así como el instructivo para inscribirse a nivel 6 y pues si usted pudiese compartir la información con allegados, personas que quisieran hacer los cursos con nosotros, pues le agradeceríamos mucho, ¿no? Bueno, habiendo dicho eso, ese es el, ¿cómo se llama esto? Siempre se me va el nombre, siempre olvido cosas. La vejez tal vez. Eh, habiendo dicho este anuncio, el dominical es que se llama, habiendo dicho el anuncio dominical, pues ahora sí, switch to English. Entonces, ya saben, el anuncio dominical. Switch to English. What are we going to do in this session and on Fridays, sorry, Saturday's session? According to the schedule, we're going to finish, we're going to do two activities for this resultado de aprendizaje. So we already talked about Mi Nuevo Proyecto Writing. So in this occasion and on Saturday, we're going to talk about this second activity, the video presentation Mi Nuevo Proyecto. We will have time until the 31st of this month to complete all the activities, not only this. If you haven't presented the test, you haven't participated in the forum, you haven't done your presentation, both in writing or in speaking with video, you will have until the 31st to present them, to upload them in Zayura. There is also some kind of information here, and is this. If your video is too heavy, right, it has a lot of information, it's too long or something like that, and the platform doesn't allow you to upload it, there are two options. I suggest you two possibilities. I give you two possibilities. So the first one is for you to compress your video here in the schedule. You can find the schedule, this document in Zayuna. In page number 2, you're going to find a link here that says audios, videos, comprimidos. Here is a tutorial, I guess, or yes, I'm pretty sure it's a tutorial about how to compress your a folder, a video, or something. So for you to upload this information in the platform in Sayuna, this is the first option. The second option is for you to record this video and then upload it to YouTube and give me the access or the link of YouTube. These are two possibilities I give you. I think these are the best options. I cannot think in another option, but if you think and you can remember another possibility, I'm able to listen to you. So, okay, Mafe said no. Ah, yes, she appeared here. So, this is what we are going to do here. So, according to the schedule, we're going to do this video presentation. So if we go to the learning guide is going to say this. Durante la siguiente evidencia deberá utilizar la presentación realizada anteriormente y exponer esas ideas mediante un video corto, activando su cámara web de forma oral y mencionar sus ideas respecto a su proyecto. So, in level 4, 3, 2, and 1, you presented a video, presented a video presentation. I'm sorry for the redundancy, but in those occasions, level 4, 3, 2, and 1, the video presentation was different. That evidence was different to the previous evidence. In this case, level 5, the video presentation and the writing presentation are going to be the same. The methodology to present them is going to be different because evidence number 3 is going to be a written document, but evidence number 4 is going to be a video of this same evidence. Therefore, remember that in both activities, we need to use zero and first conditionals. We haven't studied zero and first conditionals yet, but that's what we are going to study today and on Saturday. Therefore, let's go there. So because the learning guide doesn't say anything useful, anything else useful. So thank you, learning guide. Thank you, schedule. There's something else I need to mention, and it's Zayuna. You already know this, but just in case I need to mention this, I mean, you already have the experience, but just in case, I prefer to show you how to upload this video. So you go to Zayuna, iniciar sesión with your information, open level 5. In here, you're going to visit actividad de aprendizaje guía, and here, video presentación. You clicking here. I'm going to make a switch here. Change role. Yeah. So you open video presentación, clicking agregar entrega. After that, you click. You can give me the YouTube link here, maybe the YouTube link, or if you have compressed the document, you upload it here and drag and drop it here. Guardar cambios, and then I will check the evidence as soon as possible. So that's all you need to know about this evidence because it's too easy, right? It's incredibly easy. So therefore, we're going to spend today's session talking about conditionals, but not zero and first, because we are not going to do that today, because on Saturday we're going to spend time explaining zero first conditional. So we are going to talk about zero conditional today, only zero conditional. To talk about conditionals, first, we need to know the difference between if and whether, because both are translated as si in Spanish. In Spanish, we have si, the word si, works for conditions and for something that's you affirm to do. For example, ¿tomo agua? Sí. ¿Va a ir al viaje mañana? Sí. Right? But in English, we have three different Cs in English. We have yes, like when we confirm something. Did you watch the soccer match? Yes. The second and third yes, sorry, the second and third C words in English are going to be if and whether. Both are used for conditionals. So what's the difference between them? I mean, why do they exist? Most of the time, but not always, most of the time are interchangeable. Most of the time. So sometimes we can use if, sometimes we can use whether, and it's not going to be a problem. That's not going to be a problem. However, it's good to know what's the difference between them. We're going to use, this is better to use whether. We are going to use whether when we have two possibilities, only two options. So, for example, you can go to the soccer match or you can study. There are only two options, right? If you go to the soccer match, you are not going to the party, right? Whether this happen, this other situation is not going to happen, for example, right? Let's see some examples. Is better. Do you know whether the train will arrive soon? There are two possibilities here. There are no more possibilities. Or the train will arrive at 7 o'clock to the station, or is not going to arrive at 7 o'clock. It's going to arrive, of course, but not. But there are only two possibilities: exactly at 7, or maybe 6:50, or maybe 7:10, right? After or before, but not exactly. And in this case, there are only two options: or arrives soon, or doesn't arrive soon. So there are no more options. This is why we use whether. Another option: it is unsure whether she will be interested in getting the job. So she is looking for a job, right? She is, let's suppose, engineer. Marcela is engineer. So she applies for this job in a business, but the job they are offering to her is not about civil engineering, because she is a civil engineer. Instead, she is going to do, I don't know, she will have to buy things. So she's going to be in charge of marketing. Let's suppose that. I'm just guessing things. I don't know what engineers do. So taking that into account, she's going to work because she wants to work. She is unemployed. So there are two possibilities about this job. She will take the job even though she doesn't have the skills to take this job. And the other possibility is to say, no, I prefer to do something else because this is not what I don't. This is not what I want to do because this is not part of my profession, and I'm not skilled to do this. Right? This is possible. There are only two possibilities for her. So it's unsure whether she will be interested in getting the job. She can take it. She can decide not to take it. Or maybe this is an incredible job, but it's in in the other side of the country. Let's suppose she lives in Armenia, but she has to go to, I don't know, to Caracas, Venezuela. So maybe she doesn't want to go there, or maybe it's in Sao Paulo and she doesn't want to go there because she doesn't speak Portuguese. I don't know, right? So there are two possibilities. This is when we use whether. This is a condition. So it might happen this or might happen this, right? This or that. What about if? If is again a conditional, but is used in general. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 50, 90, 100 million possibilities. Doesn't matter. So the translation could be, if something is the case, then this other thing is going to happen. It's like when you play billiards. In this case, pool, because there are two kinds of billiards, right? So when you hit the white ball, with the white ball, you're going to touch, hit the other balls, and the other balls are going to move. So this is the case. If you do something with the white ball, something else is going to happen with the other balls, right? This is a condition. We don't know what's going to happen. So we know that something is going to happen, right? Everything may happen. So, for example, I will not go hiking if it rains. So when we have this, when we have conditionals, if and whether, doesn't matter, we are going to have a cause and an effect, always. So the cause, if it rains, the effect, I will not go out from my home. I will not go hiking. I will stay at home playing video games. I don't know. So let's suppose that. Another example. If you don't like going to the movies, this is the cause. The effect, we can always go to a party. I speak to my wife and say to her, or my couple, or my son, daughter, best friend, whatever, I propose him or her something. If you don't like going to the movies, this is a condition, the first part, the starting situation. The cause and the effect is this: we can go to a party. We always have cause and effect, right? This is the difference between if and where. So if introduces a condition, and in all other circumstances we use whether, because whether is used to talk about two possibilities, or this or that, nothing else. Okay, so that's it. That's the difference between if and whether, because sometimes you're going to see both words. Okay, let's go with conditionals. What are they? Conditionals, when we are talking about conditionals, zero and first conditionals, because there are four kinds of conditionals: zero, first, second, and third. We need to know what's a condition. A condition is a situation or a circumstance. So if this happens, this other is going to happen too at the same time. We have a cause and an effect. We have a result given something, given some background, right? So this is a condition. So they describe it the result of a situation. This situation is going to be is going to have a probability of success of 100%, maybe less, as 0%, and the possibilities between 0% of success and 100% of success, taking that into account, that range of possibilities, we're going to play with the conditionals: zero, first, second, and third. And because we are going to we're going to talk about zero and first conditionals, we need to take into account that we're going to use them when the probability of success of an event is going to be high. At least it's going to be high. That's the situation for now. So they describe a situation that may happen in the present or in the future, or maybe have happened but didn't in the past. So if I had studied, I would have passed the test. So this is kind of a regret for something I didn't do, but if I had done that 1 month ago, I'm pretty sure I would have passed the test, and I don't know, got a scholarship. Let's suppose that. So that's what we are saying when we say might have happened in the past, didn't happen, but we are dreaming. We are regretting for what didn't happen, but we are regretting. But so we are guessing, and we don't know what could happen in that situation. So once again, with conditionals, we have a cause and an effect. The cause is going to have this word if. always the cause is going to have the word if. And the effect is going to change depending on the context, because the context might need a future tense, a simple present tense, a condition, the word, the past participle, a past, or something like that. Okay. We can organize the cause at the beginning and the effect at the end. This is possible, but we can also reorganize it, taking into account first the effect and then the cause. Like in Spanish, for example, we say, si hoy llueve, no voy al partido. Or, no voy al partido si hoy llueve. We have the cause and the effect, or vice versa. We have the effect and then the cause. It doesn't matter. We can reorganize. What's the difference between using the cause and then the effect, or vice versa? When we have the cause first, and remember that we always use the word if to mention the cause, we're going to use a comma. That's something that I am always mentioning to you in the evidence. Be careful with the punctuation, right? Always, I am always saying that. When we have the cause at the beginning, we need a comma. However, if we have the effect at the beginning of this condition, we don't need a comma. We don't need this punctuation mark. For example, you will pass your exams if you study hard. That's the long sentence. Effect first, cause later. Or if you study hard, comma, you will pass your test, your exam, right? So as you have noticed, we have two ideas. Once again, if is used to talk about the condition, I mean the cause, right? And the effect is going to be the result. So we can have the effect at the beginning or the cause at the beginning, doesn't matter. As I mentioned before, for example, if you study hard, you will pass your exam, or you will pass your exam if you study hard. What's the difference? A comma. If you have the cause at the beginning, use the comma. If you have the cause at the end, don't use the comma. That's it. Also take into account that when we are using conditionals, we are always going to need the cause and the effect. We cannot only use the effect. We cannot only use the cause, because if we do that, our sentence, our idea is going to be is not going to be completed, and therefore is not going to be understood. For example, in this case, if I get lost in the jungle, what happens? If I get lost in the jungle, what? I'm going to die. I'm going to look for help. A lion is going to appear and going to eat me. I'm going to get naked and try to look for a river so I can enjoy the nature. What's going to happen, right? So if we only have the cause, everything may happen, and that's going to be incomplete, and therefore we are going to get lost. We're not going to have enough information. It's not going to be understandable. Because, you can imagine many things, and maybe none of those things may happen. Okay, so if I get lost, it works both for the cause and both for the effect. So if I get lost, what happens? We don't know. So I ask for directions. So you meet your friend and you haven't seen him in, I don't know, in 1 week, your best friend. And your best friend says at the beginning of the conversation, I ask for directions. And you say, what's wrong with you? Why are you saying this? I mean, what's the context for you to tell me this? I ask for directions. What's the context for you to tell me this? what happened, right? We need a context on this occasion, because if we only mention the effect, nothing's going to be coherent. It's not going to have any sense. So cause cannot be alone. Effect cannot be alone. They must be together. Doesn't matter the order. Effect first and cause at the beginning. Effect first, cause later, or vice versa. Doesn't matter. But both need to be present. Cause and effect, or effect and cause. Okay? Once again, if we use the cause at the beginning, we need a comma. If no, we don't need the comma. Okay? Okay, let's go with zero conditional. Now, let's begin with zero conditional. To talk about zero conditional, we need first to remember simple present tense. Something you have studied in level 1, level 2, level 3, and yes, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm pretty sure you are a little tired of always studying only simple present tense, but this is necessary. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick recap because you already have studied this and I'm pretty sure you already know how this works. Remember that present simple tense or simple present tense is studied in two different ways. Studied with verb to be and the management of other verbs like study, work, believe, create, and so on. Remember that the verb to be is conjugated as am is are, and for I is for he, she, it, and are for everybody else. I mean all the plurals. For negative sentences, we use the word not. Am not, isn't, are not, or aren't. There are many contractions. And for questions, we use the verb to be at the beginning of the question. That's it. With other verbs, we need to remember that with affirmative sentences, if the action is performed by Christian, Mariana, or the dog, or the dolphin, the verb is going to be modified. We are going to add s, es, or ies at the end of this verb. For example, Marcos works, Mariana flies, right? Let's suppose that. With negative sentences, we use the auxiliary verb. So we say don't or doesn't. We use doesn't for Mariana, Christian, and the platypus. And we use don't for everybody else. The main verb doesn't change because we have the auxiliary verb. And for questions, we do something similar similar to what we do with verb to be, because verb to be goes at the beginning, right? In this case, the auxiliary verb goes at the beginning. And again, the main verb is not going to change because we have the auxiliary verb. And the auxiliary verb is going to be mentioned as does when Andrea, Felipe, or the alligator, we are asking something about the alligator, Andrea or Felipe. Otherwise, we use do. That's everything you need to remember about simple present tense. This is a quick recap because you have already studied this. Pretty sure you already know how this works. So this is very quick because you already know how this works. And why are we reminding this? Because zero conditional is going to use this structure, simple present tense, to talk about the condition, the cause, and the effect or the result. If this happens too. Simple present tense with verb to be, for example, and simple present tense with the verb enjoy. Simple present tense with the verb create, and simple present tense with the verb, I don't know, believe. Doesn't matter, right? But it's always with simple present tense. If a woman acts, remember that the main verb has been modified. So if Mariana studies acting, she, I don't know, something is going to happen to her. She gets, no, this doesn't work because this is first conditional. Something certain. Okay, if we don't take care of the planet, we die. This is faster and easier. So we always use with zero conditionals, present simple tense. Doesn't matter if it's a negative sentence or an affirmative sentence. Doesn't matter. Affirmative with affirmative, negative with negative, or negative affirmative, or vice versa. Doesn't matter. Okay, when do we use zero conditional? This is the first step to understand. We already know the grammar, so grammar is easy. If you know how a simple present tense works, grammar is going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be as easy as 1, 2, 3. So this is not important for now. But the situation here is to understand, when do we use zero conditional? I mean, why is this important? We're going to use zero conditional to talk about facts, situations that are most of the time, if not always, true. That means given a cause, the effect is going to be 100% predictable because it will always happen. There is no possibility to make a mistake in the prediction. That's why I was mentioning about the acting class about Daniel, I guess. Couldn't work in this example because this is the probability of this happening is not 100%. So that's why I changed the example. So we use zero conditional to predict. Sorry, not to predict. We use zero conditional to mention that if this situation happened, the cause is, we have a cause, the effect or the result is going to be predictable all the time. Always is going to be predictable. We have 100% of success rate of success in terms of prediction. So we use zero conditional, especially for scientific laws and rules, mainly. So if you boil water, what's the opposite of melt? If you put water in the stove, in the oven, and you put it at 100 degrees, it boils. Yeah, this is the fact. So this conditional then is used, zero conditional is used to talk about general habits. For example, this is 100% predictable. If I'm tired, I go to bed early. This is something that I always do, so I'm very predictable. This is a general habit. First situation. Second situation, to talk about permanent facts or permanent truths. For example, the example I gave you some minutes ago. If you heat water to 100 centigrade degrees, it boils. This happens here in the Conchinchina, in Brazil, in Germany, in Portugal, whatever. This happens everywhere. Okay, almost everywhere, almost. Because in Tumaco, for example, it doesn't happen, but most of the time it happens, most of the time. And finally, to give instructions. For example, if it rains, don't go to the playground. I, like a father, say this to my son because I don't want to see him sick. So if it rains, don't go to the playground because you're going to get sick. Therefore, I guess it's better for you not to get sick. If you want to go there, you're going to get sick, and you will have to face the consequences. But I prefer you not to go. In this case, it could be an order. Not necessarily an order, but it could be an order. So this is why we use a zero conditional. Once again, we use if to talk about the cause, the beginning of the situation. The result or the effect doesn't have if. The cause is going to be separated to the consequence with a comma if the cause goes at the beginning. If no, we don't need a comma because we are using the effect first and the cost later. Okay. So this is the grammar. I have already mentioned this to you. Therefore, I think I can give you some examples only. So in this case, if snakes are scared, they bite. This is the cause, this is the effect. Or vice versa. Snakes bite if they are scared. Effect first, cause later, right? So this is not this is not rocket science. Again, take into account the comma because this is how we separate ideas. This is how it works how we know that we are talking about a cause and effect when we are having the cause at the beginning. Okay, I think this is all you need to know. I have already mentioned the word when. This unless is not important. And this is something you don't need to present in the evidence. Therefore, this is all you need to know for now. Let's go with some exercises, some games. Let's begin with Kahoot. Let's do this. 3 minutes. No, 2 minutes. I will start at 8:41, okay? Okay, let's go. You already know how it works, so I'm going to skip the tutorial, and I wish you luck. Break a leg. Okay, doc, time up. So, in third place, this is for Samuel. Second place, this is for Angie. And the first place is for Juan David. Congratulations. Great job. Okay, this was a warming activity.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for
Welcome.
hi the guys.
So we're going to play two more games. The first one is
Yes.
conditional. Conditional. Is in quizzes. Only 8 questions, so this is going to be too easy. And the second exercise is going to be a speaking exercise. I want to focus mainly in the speaking exercise because this is the most completed game. Okay, somebody has arrived. Oh yeah. Hello, Mafe. Once again, I'm going to share with you the link of the game in quizzes. All right, I'm going to start when the timer says 50 seconds. Okay, so 40 seconds to wait. Okay, I guess it's not necessary to wait. So remember, conditional, zero conditional uses simple present tense and simple present tense. So good luck. Okay, look. So, third place for Maria Fernanda, second place for Angie, and the first place is for Samuel. Okay, let's see the most difficult questions. There are no extremely hard questions because you got a 75% of accuracy, so this is a good percentage of success. But we can check the most difficult questions here. The last three, I guess. Yeah, the last three. So if you heat water, what happens with the water when you heat it to 100 centigrade degrees? Remember that water is an uncountable noun, and all uncountable nouns like butter, like air, like hair, and so on, are treated as singular nouns because they cannot be counted. We cannot say two waters, for example, right? Because of that, water can, because of water is going to be treated as singular noun, we can replace water for it. And remember that when we have the subject it, he, or she, right? The main verb is going to be modified. What's going to happen to the main verb? We are going to add SES or IES depending on the context. When do we add IES? When the verb ends in Y and before the Y there is a consonant, right? When do we add ES? When the verb ends in S, S, X, S, CH, SH, and others. And in general, we only add S. So here it boils. Let's go with the second one, the second example. How do we create the zero conditional? We said that we are going to use simple present tense and simple present tense. Therefore, past tense, nope. Present simple and present simple, yes. Present simple and present plus infinitive, no, because we need to modify, we need to modify the verb, right? If we don't modify the verb, if it's a woman, an animal, or a man, we are not doing the correct conjugation of simple present tense. Therefore, we cannot use an infinitive all of the times. And finally, past simple, definitely no. So what's the correct option? Present simple, and present simple. If has the cause, and the other one, I mean, again, this present simple is the effect. Or we can substitute them, right? Make a change. Effect first, and then the cause. And finally, why do we use zero conditional? To talk about science facts, for example, if we boil water at 100 centigrade degrees, it boils, right? I forgot the word. If we heat water, right? This is a scientific fact. This is true? Absolutely, yes, because this is not going to happen only in Colombia. This is going to happen in Brazil, Canada, Germany, in Thailand, and so on. So this is true. Rules and laws. This is a rule. If we heat water, if 100 degrees, it boils. So this is a rule. Therefore, all of them are correct. These three situations are true. So all of the above, I mean, all of them are a fact. Okay, zero conditional, this is too easy. I'm going to give you a link for an exercise for you to complete it at home, not with me, but at home. I'm going to mention what to do with this exercise now for you to practice it. And here is the summary. So we use if, the condition, and the result. The condition is in present, the result is in present again. Okay, what's the objective for you? The objective is to take the verb in braces: rain, get, not do, miss, be, get, don't drink, and so on, and conjugate them. For example, let's solve the question number 2. My mother, because my mother is a woman, she, with simple present tense, the verb must be modified. What do we do with the verb? We add s. That's it. So gets. Conjugation of negative sentences with simple present tense. It can be doesn't or don't, right? Both options are possible. But because the subject is I, then we cannot use doesn't. We need to use don't. But something else is missing, the main verb, don't do. Or the long form is do not do, right? I'm not sure if this is going to work because sometimes the platform doesn't accept contractions. So if this doesn't work, trust me, because the answer is doesn't, sorry, don't, or the long form is do not, okay? Check my answers. Oh, yes, it works. So if you get a red, if the answer is in red, highlighted in red, there is a mistake here. Maybe you typed a letter, one more letter, or maybe you missed one letter. And if it's in green, it's because you did it well. So the objective here is to get a 10 over 10, so a perfect score. Okay. This is for you to practice zero conditionals, in this case, simple present tense, because this is simple present tense in terms of grammar. And finally, we are going to play a game, a speaking game, because this is too easy. To do this, you need to open the microphones. So I'm going to ask one question each. So starting with Angie, then Samuel, then Juan, and I will finish with Maria Fernanda, okay? What are the categories? True or false, complete the sentence, make a sentence, and fill in the blank. 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. I'm going to open all of the 100s. So, if you freeze water, it becomes solid. This is true or false? Is that a fact or is a lie? That's what you have to say. In this case, is a fact. If you freeze water, it becomes solid because it becomes ice, right? So this is true. It's correct. This is a fact. Complete the sentence. This is something personal. What happens in this case? If I wake up late, what happened? If you wake up late, what happened with your life, in your life? If I wake up late, I don't have time to take a shower. If I wake up late, I don't go to the gym. If I wake up late, I arrive late to my job. I don't know. Many things may happen, right? So there is not a single option of answer because every person is different. Therefore, your answers can be different too, depending on the question, of course. Depends. Make a sentence. We have to reorganize this. So Jane eat too much chocolate, she gets sick. You have to reorganize that and also conjugate the verb if required. In this case, we also need the conditional, right? The conditional if. So let's see how this works. If Jane eats, remember, Jane is a woman. Therefore, the main verb must be modified because simple present tense, no? We use simple present tense. If Jane eats too much chocolate, comma, because this is the cause, she gets sick, and this is the effect. Or vice versa. Jane gets sick if she eats too much chocolate. You can organize it as you want. Depends on you. Because both options are acceptable. And finally, fill in the blank. You have the verbs in braces. You will have to fill them and create a sentence. This is an order from me to you. Put those plants in the sun. Why? You ask me why? Why do I have to do this? And I tell you this. If they enough light, they we need to conjugate this verb in a negative form with simple present tense. The negative form for this is there are two options: does not or do not. Does not get, do not get, or the contractions: don't get, doesn't get. But because we are talking about the plants, That's why we use they, right? The auxiliary verb must not be does, so do. So if they don't get enough light, they die. The main verb don't change. The main verbs don't change because we are talking about they. And for negative sentences, we use the auxiliary verb don't. Let's see, just in case. If they don't get enough light, they die. That's it. Okay, I have no more questions. So let's go with Angie Martinez de Quintero.
Okay. Complete the sentence. 500.
Groovy, I like it. It's easier to sleep if...
I get no. I go to my bed early.
It's easier to sleep if I go to my bed early. That's perfect. Yes. We don't have an answer here because every person has a different lifestyle. But in terms of what you answered, your answer is perfect, is correct. Good job. Well done. Thank you, Angie
Yes.
Jimena de González ahora. Okay, let's go with Samuel Fonseca de Quintero.
Good evening, teacher.
Hello,
I
good
like
evening.
the true or false.
Okay,
Maybe 400.
okay, doc. When it rains, the grass stays dry. This is true or false?
Absolutely false.
Absolutely false. And the answer is false. That's correct because it is not possible, right? Okay, well done. Unless that we were talking about the grass of the soccer field from the Real Madrid stadium, right? Because you know they take care a lot of this grass. Okay, let's go with Juan David Olarte Loaiza de I don't know de Gómez.
Ay, Dios. Okay. And so form and truth or false?
True or false? 400. It's already open. It has already been open. True or false? So you have 200.
300.
300. Okay. If
Yes.
you mix red and blue, you get green.
So is this and false?
False. Let's see. Let's check. Wait a minute. Just a second. Just a question. Would you bet a kidney for that answer? ¿Apostaría un riñón por esa respuesta?
I'm so for I'm so for I think me answer for me from this is correct. Yes.
So, you say it's correct, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you would bet your kidney for that answer. Okay? Okay, let's see if you owe me a kidney or maybe no. Let's see. And the answer is false. Because when you mix red and blue, you get brown, I think. I guess. I'm not really sure with colors, but you definitely don't get green. To get green, you mix yellow and blue, I think.
And so from this is and yellow and blue. So for get a green.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't get green with red and blue. So sorry. Okay, thank you, Juan. And let's go with Maria Fernanda Hernandez de Vinuesa. Not sure if you are typing in the chat, so I'm going to check the chat. Oh, yes, you are typing. Okay, type in the chat the number and the category, please. So fill, make, complete, or true, false. $200 true or false. Okay, doc. And the question is, plants die if they don't get enough water. This is true or false? True. So my question for you, would you bet $50 million for that answer? Are you sure? Yes or no? Apostaría $50 millones, creo que le dije dólares y millones, y 50. ¿Por esa respuesta? Yes, okay, let's see. So if you make a mistake, you will owe me $50 million, okay? So let's see. I'm finally going to be rich, finally. And the answer is true. Yes, correct. Plants die if they don't get enough water. So correct. Congratulations, you did an excellent job. Okay, so this is the last exercise we are having here. I'm going to give you the link of the exercise for you to complete it. So complete the sentence, make a sentence, fill the blank, and so on. And that would be all for today. I'll meet you again on Saturday to talk about first conditional and the difference between zero and first conditionals, because they are different, not only in terms of grammar, but because of the use. Okay, see, if you have questions, please let me know them in this moment. If you don't have questions, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, teacher. Have a good night.
You too, Samuel. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording then. Okay, tell me.
Okay.
The conditional zero always use with simple present always.
Yeah, simple present tense for the cause and the effect. So next class, I mean on Saturday, we are going to see that first conditional uses two tenses, a simple present tense again, and future tense, future will. So this is the difference in grammar, but there is also a difference in terms of why do we use zero and when do we use first conditional. But yes, in terms of grammar, zero conditional always uses simple present tense with the cause and simple present tense with the effect.
Okay, thanks, teacher.
Pleasure. Okay, see you on Saturday, guys. Thank you very much for coming.